Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing the latest in a long line of Girard-Perregaux Laureato models dating back to 1975. Launched between the Royal Oak and the Nautilus chronologically, it was part of the original series of integrated bracelet sports watches, but that original one was a Girard-Perregaux manufacturer quartz movement. Today, with the Laureato Automatic 42 launched in 2017, we get the best of both worlds, integration as well as a manufacturer mechanical caliber. So the name gives it up. It's the Automatic 42 in steel, 42 millimeters in diameter, a very svelte 10.9 millimeters thick. That is admirable, as a lot of watches in this class have quite a bit of girth. Now, there's two ways to measure this. Lug-to-lug, just the lugs. The case is 49.1 millimeters across, but you can see how the first link of the bracelet flares out and can't be pulled down. So the absolute distance across the wrist in terms of width is 52.4 millimeters. Now we'll throw this watch on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference, and you can see that though it is broad, the lugs are angled downward, and you can see that right there. So the fit is quite good. I would recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. You could give it a shot at 14 if your wrist is really flat across the top. But this is the look if your wrist is 16 centimeters. Note it'll slip underneath any kind of a cuff, and it does contour nicely to the wrist down the barrel. A distance shot, great looking watch. Feels as good as it looks. Now, taking a closer look, you can see the integration is present and correct. The case tapers into the lug hoods taper into the bracelet. The bracelet has a lovely bevel along its edge that actually continues the bevel of the case flank. We have two types of links. We have the intermediates with polish, and then we have a lateral satination across their tops with longitudinal satination across their sides. Taking a look at the removable links, you can see they are fixed in place using screws. We have that intermediate size link in there in case you wind up being in between sizes. You can see there's another one on the other side. We have a double folding clasp with twin trigger release. It is a sequential close. One side closes before the other. Thanks to the twin triggers, you have to press both of them to open up this clasp. The watch is going to stay put on the wrist. The case is simple but strong. We have sheer sides, we have tapered lugs, we have those bevels that run the full length of the case. We have a crown that features a miniature of the polygonal bezel of the Laureato. So Girard-Perregaux has two design icons. One is the shape of the bridges in the tourbillon with 3 golden bridges. The other is the shape of the Laureato bezel. And the bezel here you can see is actually a fixture as the watch includes 3 principal parts to the case. You've got the bezel, the mid case, and the case back. With the screw down crown, all of this combines for 100-meter water resistance. Now you can also see that the bezel has satin circular across its top, polish on its outer flanks, and then polish on the little plinth element that sits below it. The watch features a dial with a Clou de Paris, and it has a wonderful shading, as you can see. Turning it through the light, these little pyramid-style hobnails have 4 facets, so one side will usually be shaded while the other is illuminated. It's a lovely 3-dimensional effect that adds nuance to the watch. Now, if we take a quick look, we're going to move the hands a bit. You could see that the watch has a great deal of dial detail, applied rhodium-plated indices that light up beautifully against the base. You can also see that we have hands that are treated the same way. A blue disc with white-on blue printing for the date, Girard-Perregaux logo applied. Girard-Perregaux, via acquisitions, does have a organization dating back to 1791. I believe that's the Bout company that actually dates back to 1791. GP, I believe, acquired them in the early 20th century, so that's where the 1791 comes from. 2 subsidiary setting modes. We have hacking seconds, so you can stop the movement and set it against a reference time. Then we have a quick set system, so you can rapidly cycle the date. I particularly like that a very serify Open 6, Open 9 font was chosen for that date disc. Flipping it all over, we have GP caliber 1800. Now, when this watch was first launched, it was announced with the caliber 3300. I've never seen an example of this watch that actually has a 3000 series automatic in it. This is caliber 1800. And if they never used the 3300, I would say good riddance. This newer, larger, better movement does everything the original 3300 did, but it does it better. It's a larger movement first. This movement right here has a diameter of 30 millimeters, whereas the 3300 was 25.6. So if you're gonna have a display case back, this better fills that case back. Also, power reserve. The 3300 is 46 hours, this is 54. This has got the hacking seconds, the quick set date, 8 beat per second rate, 28 pivot joules, and you can see there's two different ways to adjust it. One is with a sort of Edicron fine adjustment mechanism for timing and beat error, and then for really tiny changes, an eccentric screw micrometric regulation system. We have linear Côte de Genève across the bridges, circular on the rotor. You could see handsome mirrored beveling on both the rotor and the bridges, and it really is quite broad and beautiful. Engine turning on the edge of the bridges as well as on the base plate below. Screw heads are polished. You can see that there's solarization at the core of the winding rotor ball bearing, satination on the wheels where you can see them. And there's also a wonderful symmetry to it. You can see that the barrel has a large bridge that mirrors the design of the balance at the bottom. The barrel also features exquisite solarization on its surface, and you can see just how much beveling you're getting here. That's a really nice polished bevel. Undoubtedly started with mechanical means but finished by hand. You can even see that locating pins that are used to locate the bridges on the base plate, those have been polished on their top, so all of this looks really, really nice. I would class it with JLC, Audemars Piguet, some FP Journe movements. This is a really good effort, the likes of which would be credible in the highest tier of high horology. It's only once you start to get to the Patek, the Vacheron, the Lange level that they take a step up, and given the price of this watch, I consider that even bought new, that level of finishing and this quality of product is a bargain. We'll do a quick Lume shot so you can get a sense of the watch in the dark. Easy to read, no problems in that regard. If you love this watch, reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.